Alright, welcome to this video where I'm going to show you how to be integrating the triple bowl, which is very easy, with a bunch of other bowls. These are just some simple techniques, ways that I use these bowls. The first one is just the standard playing around the rim. And even though it might look like this is a little bit wobbly, it is actually very, very stable. It is not going to fall over at all. What you're seeing here is when the bowl is being placed on something soft, it's going to be wobbly. If it was placed on a hard surface like a table, it would not be doing that whatsoever. I've got an inch of foam and another layer, and then I have a carpet. So this is here for a reason, so I can sit here comfortably, but it's also for my clients. When they come over, everybody can get a spot, and everybody gets a spot that is relatively cozy regardless of if they brought anything to put under them. So now I'm playing this one by hand this way. This is my preferred method of playing as opposed to directly on the rim, and especially when I have the bowl in my hand. And that is just because I have more control. So this entire set is in the key of C. C, F, F, D, G, F, A, and C. Very similar to your chakra tune set. However, what we have in addition to that are octaves. We've got the F3 and F4, C3 and C4. And as you can see with this triple bowl, it's really easy to just switch the side of the bowl without having to hold it. So without having to have a double and I'm switching the sides. You're seeing here though that there's less mobility in general though. I can't be picking this up and wafting it around, but what I can do is switch its orientation, which of course if you have a bowl on an O-ring, you can't switch its orientation at all. This one, you can kind of be switching the orientation of 3 bowls at the same time. So I could pick this up and move this over here, or walk through a yoga studio and be walking with this bowl and a double bowl and be getting all of the bowls throughout the space. So the bowl that is on top of the person, you can play directly on top of them, or you can pick the bowl up, play around their ears, create a nice contrast, and then the act of actually placing the bowl onto them can feel really nice. But if you have all of these bowls, you're better off most of the time just switching the bowl out altogether instead of just putting the exact same bowl on them over and over and over again, so that they get that experience of there's a different bowl being placed onto me. It feels different, it feels unique because each bowl has its own vibration that's coming off of it. And as I've mentioned before, I believe somewhere, you want to always make sure you're requesting if you can place the bowl directly on top of the person, not during the session. This would be before, of course. And there is a little bit of an art now as well of moving and shimmying things around. Because if you're just doing an O-ring set and you've got your bowls here, 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 it's very obvious where they all are. They aren't being moved at all. Now you can really get creative. Like, I'm going to place this bowl down by their ear. You can also place some of the bowls really, really close to people's ears. The microphone, because it's down here, will sound very odd if I'm placing them too close. But if you are going to place them directly beside their ears, make sure you are hitting it very softly. because it can be jarring if you start playing a bowl too loud right beside their ear. So that there, I am not playing very loud at all. That is a very light hit. And as you can tell, it's very soothing. So one-on-one sessions like this, or even if this was a group and one person is here, you know, the thing that you could be doing is the person that gets the bowls placed on top of them just pays more. Yeah, in this context, you can see this person is getting so much. There's so much going on here. Just a beautiful experience to have all of these bowls around you, close to you. They don't need to be played loud in order for them to be very impactful. And once again, just like we had down here, the bowl looking wobbly, that bounce that you just saw will never happen when there's a person with their chest here. The mannequin just has rough edges. This is supposed to be a male mannequin with the pectorals. You know, it's like it just doesn't land flat there. So that's why that happened. That wouldn't happen if it was just a person and a normal chest. However, everybody's body is different. So if somebody has, you know, big breasts, or they're wearing a bra where they're being pushed forward, just everyone's body's different. So the position is going to be either around the heart, not usually higher up because the bowl will start to tilt and may fall down towards the person's face. It's either right by the heart or moving closer to the solar plexus, and you'll find a sweet spot. Takes a little bit of practice, and honestly, there's for some people in the studio, whenever I'm doing a big group, where they just don't really get many bowls on them for very long, because if I have to place it too close to their stomach, the bowl will end up tilting, and if you give it a hit, if it's tilted and the bowl itself is touching their stomach, it's not going to resonate for very long. So I still place it on them, but they get it on them for like, you know, one hit, one ding, and it's like, okay, well, it didn't really work for this person. So there's going to be certain people that it will work better or worse for. All right, in general though, hopefully you can see here how sweet this setup is. Definitely not necessary, but if you do at-home sessions, it is nice to have a bunch of bowls. You know, it makes your job easier because there's just more variety that you can play everything with. All right, we'll see you in the next video.